What's going on, everybody? Long time no see, I know, but it has not been. This over coming out of winter time, and we haven't had much going on. So right now I'm out here. I had some of this that I'm just putting around some of the smaller trees out here. I'm not overly concerned with the bigger ones, but I'm just digging out a little circle around the trees and taking this stuff and putting a little bit in just to give it something. You don't have to really do too much when you mulch like this, because you're going to, that mulch, as you can see down here, it's turning, like, see how it's getting really black over here. You can see it's composting down. And another thing you can see is right there, that white stuff, that is I think it's mycelium is what it's called. I get confused, or I forget sometimes, but it is a fungal web that helps to, like, it's like kind of has like a symbiotic relationship with the plant roots. But when you mulch heavily, you don't have to do a whole bunch of fertilizing. But my soil is so bad out here that I'm just doing this for some of these. Like, this is I got this, man, the mosquitoes are already back. I got this, and I have another one in the garden. This is a sweet almond tree. It's not it doesn't make anything edible that I'm aware of, at least, but it makes a flower. You can see these are old flower stems right here. They're long clusters of little flowers, and it smells really nice. And pollinators like it, so I got a couple of them, and they're easy to find, they're not expensive, that sort of thing. But this one, ever since we had some cold weather, has just been struggling a little bit, so I'll give it a little bit of that. This is just an all-purpose, like, it's nothing. It's the NPK on it is 533. So, but it's what I've got right now, so that's what I'm using. It's what they're getting. But yeah, we're ramping back up. I've already planted a few things, like some lima beans, some Christmas lima beans. I'm trying those out. I am trying out. I'm gonna fertilize this finger lime because it looks really good, and you can see it's got new growth. This section down here is a little bit sparse, but up here it looks really good, and it always stays green, looks good, but it has yet to produce any limes. And I've had this for 3 or 4 years now, and I know it's grafted. There's a graft. You can see the graft spot right above that red tape right there. There's a graft line. So I know it's grafted, so it should be producing. But it hasn't been. So I'll just try this and see. This was recommended to me. Now, the person who recommended it recommended using citrus fertilizer. Well, I don't have any of that on hand right now. So this is what it's going to get. But maybe this will kind of jumpstart it into producing, because I know my soil out here is not great. But I'm hopefully going to be remedying, that's a hard word to say, remedying that, because I have started worm composting or vermicomposting, trying to keep you in the shot here, but I'm doing multiple things at one time and getting eaten up by mosquitoes. You would think, because we did get down to freezing out here one night, you'd think that these mosquitoes would have been kind of killed off a little bit, but that is not the case. That is, I tell everybody who I talk to about Florida, you know, our state bird officially is the mockingbird, but our state bird in reality is the mosquito. Because while we do have a lot of mockingbirds, we've got even more mosquitoes, and they are vicious out here, and they don't, you can put all the bug spray on you want and they're not going to be affected by it. And so this is a Hamlin orange that I bought, and I may have shown it on the channel, I don't know. I had to pull, you can see up here, I had to pull off a bunch of leaves because they were getting mealy bugs, whatever on it. They were damaging the leaves pretty badly, so I plucked those leaves off. They were also getting a little bit of damage from leaf miners, but leaf miners aren't awful. But you could turn it over and there were these little white fuzzy looking things all over. Those are mealy bugs, whatever you call them. And they were just damaging this, so I pulled all the leaves off that were damaged. This all up here is newer growth, and it's all looked pretty good ever since. My goal with this is a grafted Hamlin orange I got from Scrubland Farms. My goal with this is to get it going, and with all of these sour orange trees that I've got around my property, I would love to eventually graft off of this onto those, because they're really healthy trees, but the oranges are so sour that they're just almost, you can't palate them. Some people like them, I don't. I don't really like very sour things. So, but I planted this one a little differently than I plant things normally. I put down some cardboard. In fact, I saw Sam Singleton from Scrubland Farms do this. I cleared all this area out because I have this up underneath some oak trees over here, because that's the way you should plant citrus. So you can see right up, it's right underneath this big oak tree, this enormous oak tree over here. So you need to plant citrus up underneath an understory. They are supposed to be an understory plant. That's the reason why the greening has taken off so much. And, you know, if they would plant citrus as an understory, you wouldn't have the greening problem, because greening can't survive for some reason. And this is not just me just saying this. You can go on the University of Florida Agricultural Extension and you can see studies that they have done that the greening, whoops, that's my hand, dadgum, these mosquitoes. I mean, I am out here at dusk, but I'm ready for the time change, so it'll be lighter later so I can work more out here. But I work during the day, so it's hard for me to, you know, I gotta get out here when I can. The greening, for some reason, doesn't like it. You can have a citrus tree that is infected with the greening bacteria, and it will not show symptoms or die because it is it's an understory plant. It's not a canopy plant. The problem is the Florida citrus industry, and not just Florida, but the citrus industry in the US plants it as just a gigantic field of rows and rows of citrus trees. Well, that's like basically a monoculture, for one thing, and it is you're basically planting them as a canopy because there's nothing else over them, and there's nothing, you know, there's only stuff under them, so that's a canopy. And that they're getting sick and dying. I mean, it has pretty much wiped out the citrus industry in Florida. What I would love to do, if I had just endless amounts of money and space. What I would love to do is get a field, plant rows and rows of oak trees, and then go back after the oak trees have matured enough, and in between plant orange trees. And you could do any kind of citrus tree, but plant the orange trees underneath those oak trees as a understory plant. And I would be interested to see, and I'd be that you would not have the greening issue, and I would think that that would be a lot cheaper than the ways that they're trying to fix it now with look at how black that is. That's good stuff right there. That is a lot of them, you know, sorry, I'm moving my phone, but these mosquitoes are swarming me. One of the ways they're trying to deal with it is they'll just plant new trees, and then whenever they get to the point where they can tell they're infected with greening, or they get to a certain age, they pull them up and then replant and pull them up, and so they don't even let them get very old. You know, they're only a few years old. So that's only having limited success, and that costs a lot of money. Another way is you can go by and there will be fields of oranges that have these massive, like, mesh tents around them. And that is, I mean, it'll be acres and acres and acres of these fields with these gigantic mesh tents over them. And it's trying to keep, because the bacteria gets passed by a small insect that bites the tree, and it's trying to basically suck the sap, and so they're trying to keep that insect out. Well, I don't think that's having a lot of success. And the other thing is, those, from what I've heard, those big tents cost like $10,000, $20,000 per acre, and that may be lower, it may be more than that, but it's at least in the 10,000s range per acre of putting up those big tents. Well, unless you're an orange company, a citrus growing company that has a lot of money, you're not going to be able to afford that. You know, you can't afford that. Or unless you have like a really tiny field, you can't afford that. So that's not really feasible. I've seen them try to cover individual trees, but there again, that's going to be costing lots of money, a lot of manpower. You know, that's just not feasible. It's just not feasible. And I go to church with someone who worked in the citrus industry. He's retired now, and he said that this greening can be treated with an antibiotic. This is an Olympia fig. I planted this the same way, where I put down cardboard, put down some like soil. I just bought, you can do compost, but I put down some good like raised bed type soil that was enriched, and then just pulled the tree out of the pot, set it down on the cardboard, put the soil around the base of the tree, and then mulched it. That's why it kind of looks like it's in a mound like this. And I'm going to try to fertilize these fig trees, because I want figs. Ow, man, this is like hard right there. I want some figs, and every year I never get any. But this is an Olympia fig I bought from Scrubland Farms, and over there's the brown turkey that I thought was dead, and I pulled it up, potted it. I thought it was dead, but then it came back. So I replanted it. But anyways, he said that this guy that I go to church with said that you can get antibiotics to treat the greening. But he said it's spreading so fast that they can't make enough. Like, the demand is so high that they cannot make enough of this bacteria. I mean, not the bacteria. They can't make enough antibiotics to keep up with the demand for it. Because there's just so much. This citrus greening has infected so much all at the same time, and it's so widespread, because it's not just in Florida, it's in California, it's in other places that they're growing citrus. I think it's even gotten down into like Mexico and stuff like that. So they can't keep up with the demand for this this antibiotic. They can't make enough. And so that's a problem. Really, they don't have an answer. And I'm about to have to go inside because I'm getting swarmed by these mosquitoes. But they don't really have an answer. They haven't figured anything out with how to really combat this just epidemic, really, of citrus greening. And that's why I say I would like to see them plant a grove of oak trees, and then plant a whole bunch of citrus in between the oak trees and see where that goes. I mean, that has to be cheaper than what they've been doing, you know. And what if that's the answer? What if we start getting, you know, our citrus industry back? That'd be huge. So that's what I would recommend. But these quote-unquote experts don't want to listen to, you know, little people like me or anything like that. So yeah, there's my little rant about citrus greening. But I am going to put this stuff up, and real quick I'll show you my setup for my vermicompost bin. I took a class from Elise with the Urban Harvest. She is located in St. Pete, Florida. And I went over and took a class with her about how to build your own soil, essentially make your own soil. This is horrible lighting, but and this was one of the things she went over, and it's something that I have thought about doing. So here is I bought this bathtub on Facebook Marketplace for 30 bucks, and it's got underneath, that's where the drain is. I put a mesh strainer in there. This will catch all of what's called the leachate, so all of the kind of grossness that comes off the worms and the food scraps that are in here. When you lift that up, you can see I have the bedding is coconut coir, and there's in between, there's like two layers. There's a bottom and a top layer. In between, there's the worms and the food scraps. And so you feed them once a month this way, save up a 5-gallon bucket of food scraps, put it in there, and it should last a whole month. Oh look, I'm pretty sure that's a planet up there. I don't think that's a star. It's kind of hard to see, but right here I've been growing some herbs. I got a whole bunch of parsley. There on the end there's a mushroom herb. There's holy basil, and right in the middle I've rooted another rosemary plant. So we'll see trying to get more into growing herbs, because we use a lot of herbs, and I figure if I can do it myself and not have to, you know, it's easy to dry them out and pulverize them, and you got fresh herbs, and they have a stronger taste when you do it that way, as opposed to buying it at the grocery store. So yeah, anyways, I know it's been a while. I just figured I'd hop back on, and you know, since things are starting to ramp back up, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'm going inside before I get carried off by these mosquitoes, and I'll catch you next time.